Hello, this is Svetlana, and today I'm going to show you how to create these Native American style earrings. And today I'm trying to make my video in English because I get so many requests about English language video. You know, I'm not very good in English, but I will try. I made three different kind with three different color, and today I'm going to show you this. To create this earring, you need to have three color of sea beads. It's a Czech sea bead, number 11, and the bugle bead, it's number 2. I also need a 3mm beads, and for those two earrings I used a Swarovski crystal 3mm, but for this project I'm gonna use a Czech glass beads just because they match into the color which I like. I string 2 bugle beads, and I need to leave a little tail for securing, and I'm gonna go through the first bugle bead again and pull my thread. You know, there is several ways how to make this earring. First, you can create your middle part, and then you can add these strings of sea beads. I don't want to waste my time, so I'm gonna do all these things together. So as only I have 2 bugle beads, I'm gonna create this part. I string 3 brown sea beads. All these sea beads is size 11. Then 4 greenish yellowish sea beads, because there is a slightly difference between these two kinds. This is why I picked them, because they are matching each other very well. So then 4 yellow sea beads, 1 brown, 1 bugle bead, and the same order, only to the other direction. 1 brown sea bead, 4 yellow, and 4 green sea bead. Then I string 3 brown sea bead, 3mm bead, and 1 green sea bead. And I string 1 more green sea bead, and I go back through the last green sea bead. And pull the thread to make all sea beads tight. Now I string 3mm bead, 3 brown sea beads. Then I string 4 green sea beads, 4 yellow sea beads, 1 brown, 1 bugle, 1 brown, 4 yellow sea beads, and 4 green sea beads. So all basically is the same string except the last 3 brown sea beads. Now I need to go through the first 3 brown sea beads, and through the bugle my thread exited. I pull my thread and go through the next bugle bead. Now we need to repeat the previous step to add the string of sea beads. And exit your thread through the bugle bead. And now I'm ready for the next step. For the next step, I string 2 bugle bead. This is my thread. This is the tail. And I need to go back through the same bugle. My thread exited. It is a lot easier when you have a deal with the sea beads, but it's okay with the bugle beads. Just need sometimes a little help. And go up through the second bugle bead of the first row, and I go up through the first bugle bead of a new row and pull my thread. Now I string 1 more bugle bead, and I go back through the, just make sure you can see, and go back through the bugle bead of the first row, go up through the next bugle bead, because I want to make like a little loop and exit my thread through the, it's up on you, left or right, it's not big difference. And I exit my thread through the last bugle bead. I just added a new row. Now I need to repeat the same step and make the same string of C beads. And I exit my thread through the same bugle bead. Now, as I said, I don't want to waste my time, so I'm gonna add another row of a bugle bead. I string 2 bugle beads and I go back through the same bugle bead, pull my thread. Sometimes you need the help to your bugles. Then I go up through the middle bugle bead of the second row and go up through the first bugle bead of the new row and pull my thread. I string 1 more bugle bead and I go back through the second or the middle bugle bead of a second row, go up through the first bugle bead of the second row and go up through the bugle bead I just added on the third row. And I pick up another, the last one, bugle bead and go down through the first bugle bead of the second row. And here I'm gonna add a string of C beads. I exit my thread through the same bugle bead. Now I go up through the, you see the first, the second of the new row, and go down through the first bugle bead of the third row, because now I'm gonna add another string of C beads. Exit my thread through the first bugle bead of the third row, and now I do again. I'm gonna add a new row of bugle beads. I string 2 bugle beads, go back through the same bugle bead my thread just exited, pull my thread, go up through the next and go up through the first of the 2 just added. I string a new bugle bead, go back through the second bugle bead of the previous row, go up through the, you can see probably, go up through the third C bead and go up through the last. I try to show, but my camera doesn't do a very good job. You see, it's blinking. So I go up through the third bugle bead of the third row and up through the last bugle bead of a new row. One more bugle bead, go back through the third, go up through the fourth bugle bead, and through the bugle bead I just added. And I'm adding the last bugle bead in this row. I string a bugle bead and I go down through the first bugle bead of the third row, and I need to add a new string of C beads. When I finish this step, I go up through the 2 bugle beads, because I need to exit my thread through the first bugle bead and add a new string of C beads. Using the same technique, I will add one more row of bugle beads, and there will be 6 bugle beads in the last row. Now I'm adding the 6th bugle bead, and when my thread is exited from the corner bugle bead, I'm gonna add a string of C beads. My thread is not enough long to finish my work, so I'm going to wave my way into the bugle beads and cut the thread. I have a new thread in my needle, and I need to exit my thread through the first bugle bead of the last row. Leave a tail long enough for securing. And I exit my thread through the first bugle bead of the last row. I string a brown C bead, a bugle bead, brown C bead, and 3mm bead. And I pick up one more brown C bead and I go back through the 3mm bead and pull my thread. Now I just make sure that the C bead is like I want. And now I need to string one more brown C bead, one bugle bead, and one brown C bead. And I go through the first bugle bead from the opposite side. And there is a last time where you need to add a string of C beads. And I go up through the last 3 brown C beads and a bugle bead. Then I go through the C bead and bugle bead, through the 3mm bead, go through the C bead on the top, and I need a string brown C beads and go around and back through the same C bead on the top. I go back through the 3mm bead and I go through the C bead, the bugle bead, and C bead on the opposite side. Now I need to go through the bugle beads and exit my thread through the 3rd bugle bead from the right side. So I'm going to go through this bead, through this bead, then up through the next bead, and through the next bugle bead. Now let's look how it's going. I go up through the bugle bead. I go up through the next first bugle bead of the next row. Then I'm turning around, go through the second, and now I can go through the 3rd bugle bead. Yes. That is the last step. I string one brown C bead and 3mm bead, and I try to explain what I need to do. So I go up through this C bead and I go up through 3mm bead. Then I need to go from left to right through the C bead, and I go back through the 3mm bead, go down through this C bead, and go back through these beads I just going to add. So let's look how it's going. I go up through the C bead and the 3mm bead. Then I go from left to right through the C bead on the top. Actually, I think it will be a right if I go through the 6 C beads around, make it stronger. I hope guys you can see that. Go again through the C bead, go back through the 3 millimeter bead, go through the C bead on the opposite side, and go back through the 3 millimeter bead and C bead. Almost done. And go down through the fourth C bead, because this is not C bead, bugle bead. This is a bugle bead. My thread is exited, and I made all this way through the beads, and I go down through the next bugle bead. Now these two parts will be balanced. You can pull your thread, and now all what you need is secure the thread and cut it. I open the air wire, attach my earring, and close it. I hope you like my summer earrings. If you would like to have a written tutorial, it will be available in my Etsy store. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye bye.